Yo, what up everybody? Patrick from Dual Dimensions here, and I'm here with the Swift Justice deck review, the red and white theme deck that was just introduced in the new Dark Ascension Magic the Gathering set. And the whole point of this deck, you're going to have a deck full of small creatures, around 1/1, 2/1s, and you're also going to have a combination of those creatures with other creatures that tap your opponent's creatures so that your smaller creatures can go through and deal damage. It's really confusing, but you'll see what I'm talking about when I get into the deck. So, inside of this deck, you're going to have 12 mountains and 12 plains. Basic lands, kind of boring. And aside from that, you're going to have other creatures and spells inside of this deck that are really good, and they all work well together. So, here we go. So, to start off, this is in alphabetical order, by the way. You're going to have the Ashmouth Hounds right here. The red monster. It costs 2 for a 2/1, and whenever it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, it deals damage to that creature that it attacked or blocked. Right now you have the Assault Griffins. You're going to pay 4 for a 3/2 flyer. No effect, which is it's pretty decent. I would substitute that obviously for some cheaper costing flyers, but it's still pretty good. You're going to get one Blood Crazed Neonate right here. So it's a vampire creature they're putting in there. You're going to pay 2 for 2/1. It attacks each turn, and whenever it deals damage to a player, you get a +1/+1 counter on it, which is a very common theme among vampires in this set. Here's kind of a throwback card from N12, the Elite Vanguard. Obviously, it's a pretty good card for 1-drop, so you're paying the 1 plains for a 2/1 with no effect, which is pretty good for first turn. We have also Erdwall Ripper, which is you're going to pay 3 for a 2/1 haste. And just as the other vampires, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you put a +1/+1 counter on it to get it a little stronger. Here we go. The Fiend Hunter, pay 3, 1/3, enters the battlefield. You're going to exile a target creature, and when it leaves the battlefield, you are going to put that creature back onto the field under its opponent's control. So it kind of reminds me a little of Flicker Wisp from the old Lorwyn Eventide sets, so I like to see that effect come back into play. Here's Forge Devil. Gonna pay 1 mountain for the 1/1 devil creature. Whenever it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage to you, which is alright. You're getting a 1/1 for 1, but I would substitute him out for another Elite Vanguard because I don't like creatures that deal damage to me if they're my own creature. Lightning Elemental. This also plays into the deck theme of, Swift Justice. Obviously, you're going to try and get in there and deal damage as fast as possible, so you're paying 4 for the 4/1 haste, and these are pretty good. The Markov Warlord, my opinion, is a little, he's a little expensive, but you pay 6, and when he enters the battlefield, up to 2 creatures can't block this turn. He also has haste, so you get that. You get 2 of them inside of this deck. Midnight Guard. Right here, pay 3, and you're going to get a 2/3, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you can untap Midnight Guard, which is really good if you have a lot of effects. A lot of people are talking about comboing this with Presence of God, so it's really good. And being able to attack, play a creature on your main phase 2, and then untap the Midnight Guard for a blocker on your opponent's turn is really good to have too. So now we're getting into the cards where when they enter the battlefield or attack, you're going to tap your opponent's creatures. This plays in as a combo with the smaller creatures that I just showed you, so that basically your opponent's left defenseless and you can go in there and attack with a lot of your haste or a lot of your powered up vampires. So Niblis of the Mist, you're going to pay 3 for 2/1 flying. When it enters the battlefield, you're going to tap target creature, which is pretty good. I run one of these in the blue-white spirit deck. That is not standard, but maybe a review will come up for that. We also have Niblis of the Urn, so you're going to pay 2 for a 1/1 flying. And whenever it attacks, you're going to tap target creature, which is really good. These guys basically go right through when you attack, and since they're a 2-drop creature, you're going to get them pretty early game, hopefully. Night Revelers. So as long as your opponent has a human, which most people tend to play human decks now in this set, he gains haste, and he is a 4/4 for 5. Requiem Angel was the card that was showcased at the front of the deck box. It's basically the main card of the deck. So you're paying 6 for a 5/5 flying, and whenever a believe it is a non-spirit creature dies, you're going to put a 1/1 flying spirit token onto the battlefield, which is really good. Combos well with Doom Traveler, since when he dies, you get a 1/1, and with her on the field, you essentially get two 1/1 flyings for 1 mana off of from Doom Traveler, which is really good. Pay 5 for a 4/4 Flying Vigilance. We've all seen this card before. This card has appeared in multiple sets, and a lot of people like to play this card, so it's Sarah Angel. No surprise there. Everyone's seen it before. Silver Chase Fox, paying 2 for a 2/2, and his effect, you can sacrifice him to exile target enchantment, which works really well on a lot of cards in this set, since there are a lot of enchantments and auras and curses that have been introduced. Stormkirk Noble, or Stormkirk Noble, a 1/1 for 1, can't be blocked except by humans, or can't be blocked by humans, and whenever he deals damage to a player, you get a +1/+1 counter, so that's really good, especially since he only costs 1. And Torch Fiend is the last of the creatures that you'll get inside of this deck. You're going to pay 2 for a 2/1, and you can sacrifice it by paying 1 mountain to destroy target artifact, which is pretty decent. I would probably run spells that destroy enchantments, but he's a 2/1 creature, so he does more than destroying artifacts. Burning Oil, pay 2, going to deal 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature, and it has a flashback effect of 4, which is really well, or it works really well inside of this deck. So yeah, you'll be dealing 3, destroy the creatures that aren't tapped, so that you can continue to push the little men through and they can deal damage. You're going to get 1 Nightbird's Clutches, pay 2, and 2 target creatures can't block this turn. It also has the flashback effect, which is really good for tapping the creatures to let your creatures go through. Rally the Peasants, you're going to get 2 of these. These are the cards that you use once your small guys are able to attack your opponent directly to give them the extra boost of power, so they're going to get +2/0 for 3. It's an instant, and it has flashback for 3 also, which is really good. You can keep using that turn after turn. Skillful Lunge, also one of those cards, an instant that'll power up your creatures, and target creature will get +2/+0 and first strike for 2 mana until the end of the turn. Traveler's Amulet, pay 1 for the artifact. You're going to also pay 1 to activate its effect and sacrifice it. Search your library for a basic land, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. So these are the cards that you use if you're facing any mana clump or anything like that. You don't have enough mana to cast your bigger spells, such as Requiem Angel. And the last 2 spells you get in this deck are the Sorcery Wreck with Madness. Pay 4, and target creature deals damage to itself, basically. So that's a really good card. So the main point of this deck, get the small guys through, power them up with some decent spells, some sorceries, some instants that give them +2/0, for example. And a lot of the spells that do that also have flashbacks, so you can keep recycling those cards. So this was the red-white Swift Justice deck review from the Dark Ascension Magic the Gathering set. So this is Patrick from Dual Dimensions. Peace, YouTube.